That's the defect!
What? No, I was just... Well, here we go.
How's it going? My name is Voltaire Slapadelic. This is the Seoul Dojo. I'm doing my first impressions video for the new game Hi-Fi Rush that just came to Xbox series of consoles that they do. I'm killing these intros, I swear to God. Okay, so Hi-Fi Rush is a new game. It's from the people that brought you The Evil Within, as well as The Evil Within 2. The art style, which I think is really good. I like it a lot. It's cel-shaded. Me personally, I think it reminds me a lot of like Disney animation from the 90s. Lots of strong Aladdin energy going on, especially with the main character. Also some like anime vibes too, you know. So I've played a few hours. I've gotten past the second boss, and possible spoilers coming up in just a second, depending on your opinion of what constitutes a spoiler. The second boss is Rekka, the one from the trailer. So anyways, I'm gonna start off with my downsides, my cons, I guess, just because I like to end on a more positive note. For me, there's just too many cutscenes. I like the cutscenes in the beginning of like in between the levels and after the bosses and stuff, but there's just a lot of these little cutscenes that pop in while you're going through the levels. Like, I think the most annoying one is sometimes there'll be this one that I've already seen the exact same little mini cutscene multiple times, where 808 will be the cat will be like dancing around, and then the main character says, "Hey, enemies," and then the fight just continues. And when it does that, it just eats up the score counter, and often probably brings you down from S to A or something, and I don't understand why that's in there. It's just kind of annoying to me. Don't do that, please. Let me finish the battle, you know. And another one is, it'll be like these explanations of things that the game design is actually pretty intuitive. It's sort of obvious a lot of the times. Not specifically what to do, you know, not like too obvious, but like it's intuitive of what buttons do what and what you're supposed to do. I'll give you a good example. There's a part where Peppermint pops in to give you this like 3-part explanation, like part A, B, and C pop up onto the screen to tell you to oh, you know that huge button that says shoot, really effing big on it? Shoot that button. I'm like, oh, thank you, Jesus, thank you so much, because I wouldn't have figured out to shoot the button that says shoot. The combat is fun, don't get me wrong, and so is the traversal and the puzzles and all of that. It's feeling really repetitive already, you know. Like, I feel like it's kind of a red flag. Like, hopefully the gameplay varies more as it goes on, because right now it's kind of like you go into a room, robots pop out of the floor, you mash the buttons to defeat the robots, and honestly, it is easier if you go on beat, but it doesn't make that big of a difference. And the Y heavy attack takes so long that it's easy to be interrupted, which means most of the time I go into a room, I'm just mashing the X button, and then go to the next room and do it again, and do it again, and do it again. It's starting to vary a little bit, which gives me some hope for the future, for the rest of the game, in that there's like a magnet hookshot thing going on that's really useful for battles, and there's like times that you need to call Peppermint by pressing the right trigger to get her to start shooting people to get their shields down and stuff, and that's cool, you know, and that's fun to do. I don't know if this is true or not, or maybe it's just the way that my thumbs don't always react as fast as my eyes do or whatever, but it feels like the visual cues are just so slightly offbeat. Not enough to really notice, but enough to if I'm looking at it, miss the beat when I'm pretty sure that matched up visually. Whereas when I would close my eyes at certain puzzles, like there's a part where you can jump, and then if you get to press the jump button to the beat in order to get up to the next floor, those parts I would sometimes mess up if I was trying to look at it. But if I closed my eyes and did it, in case you didn't know what closing your eyes looked like, if I closed my eyes and did it, then I got it like that every time, you know? The music is quiet. It's like surprisingly quiet in this game. It's very strange. The dialogue, and like I said, they don't shut up. They're talking all the way through every combat section. They're like, hey, isn't this crazy? You're playing a video game right now. It's like, I'm trying to listen to the music so that I can do the thing in time with the beat. You know, I actually had to go into the options and turn the vocals and the non-musical sound effects down to like 50% so they don't drown out the actual point of the game, which is the music. There's this weird thing going on in the narrative where Chai, the player character, and Peppermint, the first helper character, I guess, that you meet, they like, hate each other, at least right now, and I have no idea why. I genuinely don't understand it, and it's honestly a little annoying, because they're just constantly arguing with each other. They're like bickering. She'll be like, oh, I saved your life, now here, let me like give you some improvements and tell you how to get out of this situation that you're in. And he's like, no, I'm gonna steal your pet, go yourself. And it's like, what are you talking about? What? Why is there animosity? It doesn't make sense to me. This one's gonna be a little bit of a long-winded rant, I think, right here. It's my last negative about the game, but I anticipate that it will be a bit of a controversial hot take, honestly, because I believe that the music in this game so far is just kind of meh. It's a bit generic. I'm not gonna lie. It's bizarre, in my opinion, to go with just standard traditional rock and roll music for a rhythm game. Like, I get that you're trying to you stand out, but there's no like beats, you know. There's not like a beat. There's just like kind of like rock music, you know. And I'm a fan of Nine Inch Nails. Don't get me wrong. I've seen them live. I enjoy their music, but this isn't even like the best example of their music, you know. It's the most like kind of like normal sounding music, quote unquote, you know. I enjoy the music, I do. It's just that a lot of it, particularly just the background guitar riffs and stuff, it sounds like the type of music that you would hear in a commercial for the AARP. I don't understand. I don't know. It's a lot of it is just generic to me. None of the things that I do like about the game, you know, because again, I don't want it to be all negative. I think the voice acting is terrific. I think it's really, really good. You know, the jokes, well, I said earlier that some of them, you know, a little bit hit and miss here and there, and sometimes the dialogue can be a little annoying, especially during gameplay. But in the cutscenes, like between the areas and stuff where it is appropriate to have cutscenes and stuff, the voice acting is great. I think it's really wonderful. It's some top notch. It's like stuff that you would expect from like high quality, you know, animation. And I really like that. And like I said at the beginning of this video, the art design is chef's kiss, so good. It's beautiful. The opening sequence to this game is particularly impressive. I do really like the concept of everything in the world moves to the beat, you know, everything bounces to the beat, and I really enjoy that, you know. It sort of harkens back to like old-timey cartoons where everything is just kind of bouncing to a beat and stuff. And like, know that earlier I did criticize the combat a bit, saying it was a bit repetitive and everything, but that isn't to say that it's bad. I just hope that there's more variety later on, because I actually really enjoy the combat. It reminds me a lot of some of my favorite arcade games, you know. It reminds me a lot of like the Turtles in Time or the X-Men or the Simpsons game, like you know back in the day, the 90s, when you go to you know the arcade or the Cece's Pizza or whatever, and there'd be all the cool arcades in the back, and those are some of my favorite ones. And this reminds me a lot of those types of beat 'em ups, which I think is really cool, and it actually implements rhythm in combat in a way that works, in a way that in other games that I've seen try this is just more finicky and annoying than it is like fun or intuitive. And so, even though I do have some issues with the repetitiveness and the kind of blandness of the music, the actual combat and implementation of it, for the most part, I think it's pretty good. It's a pretty decent game. Like I said, I'm only 2 bosses in, so everything that I said here could be invalidated, could be made moot, you know, by just playing the game for a bit longer, and I totally accept that. It's got this great old school beat 'em up gameplay that I absolutely love. It really is a good change of pace from all the sameness of the AAA gaming industry, you know. And you know, all of that being said, I do hope that the gameplay gets more varied, because I do see a risk of me not really finishing the game if every level is going to play like this, unless of course I'm doing like a review for it or something, which I don't want to be the case, because I want to like this game. There's a lot of really good things about this game. I just think that there's bits and pieces here and there that they could improve upon, or simply just think twice about, I guess, and really make it that classic, really make it that game of the year contender that people, including myself, really want this game to be, because I think originality is sort of lacking in games a lot, and everybody says that, and so it's nice to see something truly original come out that isn't just total garbage, and I just want to see it reach its full potential and not be bogged down by repetitive gameplay and bizarre music choices. So that's my hot takes. I've been Voltaire Slapadelic. Come see me on the Seoul Dojo. Come see me on my own YouTube channel, Voltaire Slapadelic. Come yell at me on Twitter, V_Slapadelic. Go to slapadelic.com. Listen to my music.
Get your point across, get your point across. Get your point across, get your point across.